Does size matter? Woo, woo, woo. Does size matter?
No, it doesn't.
Welcome back. How is everybody? We have a special guest with us today. We have Lucas from Lab Exotics. We got Levi and Bill, and I'm Lee. We're going to be talking about does size matter?
I'm excited. Looking forward to this one.
All right.
Yeah, this is going to be a good episode.
Yeah, this could go multiple different angles and all that stuff. So where do we want to take it? I'll let Levi, you kind of you start us in the direction. You be the compass tonight.
Bet, say less. All right, well, we'll start with Lucas. Why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do? What is your background?
Right. So I'm Lucas, owner of Lab Exotics. Been breeding reticulated pythons now for 6 years. And yeah, I had an obsession with retics back in like 2011, 2012. That's when I came across on a snake forum page, Honey Island Superdwarfs, right now known as Madu. And so I found out that retics stayed smaller, right? So that piqued my interest, my curiosity. I never thought that I'd get into owning a large constrictor like a retic, and now I have some larger retics and I absolutely love them, right? But yeah, so I got into this with the idea of doing the small ordeal, and then I kind of just fell in love with the locality game. And so now I don't even consider myself a super dwarf guy. I'm just a locality guy. I've owned 8 localities at one point. I have reduced the size of my collection, and I'm really focusing and niching on Solayers and just different things involving Solayer. So it's a locality not many people have, not many people are working on and trying to enhance morphs and make pures. So that's kind of my like main direction now. So I guess if I had to label what I'm doing today in the retic world is Solayer focused.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah. So what stood out about Slayer to you?
They're like mini Sulas. They're orange. They got the cool chain link patterns. They can have some cool aberrant patterns. Solayers are also one of the few subspecies in reticulated pythons. They are Saputrii, so they're Malayo-python reticulatus saputrii. And what's beautiful and amazing about the Saputrii is they have that bulldog nose. They have the blunted, stouty noses. They have beautiful silver eyes. They have gorgeous yellow heads. Everyone always talks about Bali yellow heads, and there are so many different localities that have yellow heads: Saram, Sula, Bali, Solayers. So they have beautiful yellow heads that contrast, and they have like this muddy red and brown undertone that kind of just runs through their whole body. I've produced a clutch of pures, and I had really dark, deep, bloody red ones, and I've had some vibrant yellow, golden, orange ones. So, and one of the things that I love about them is I got into this with the Superdwarf stuff, and I love Superdwarfs. Love them so much. And they also lack thick, black, bold, rich color, right? So the Solayers have that really thick, black pattern that goes with the color. They're to me just kind of that perfect locality. They're not massive. They're not tiny. A male is definitely a manageable retic, and they're beautiful.
Well, speaking of that, size does size matter? What's your female at?
Yeah, my female, she is a 2010. So she is she's 16 years old in March. She was actually pretty sure she was from the second clutch of captive bred Solayers, or maybe the third. and she is currently probably about like 14 and a half feet.
Okay.
And she is probably approaching almost 100 pounds, if not 100 pounds.
Woo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's a big girl.
she's got plenty of, I mean, if she doesn't want to come out of her enclosure, she's not coming out.
Yeah, I would say so. She's the boss at that point.
Yeah, no, she's a sweet girl. She gets temperamental. She's not like bitey. She's never defensive, but like right now, like she is gravid, right? And when she's going through her cycling and everything, when I try to get her out, she'll buck my hook and pin it against the top of the enclosure. Like she's like, nope, not today. And I'm like, all right. I have her in a large enclosure that has a divider in the middle. So that way I clean one half and then she'll go to the clean half. I'll put the divider in, clean the other half. She's just a big girl. She's awesome.
Yeah. I have the shelf stuff and then like a long hook. So if they were up on the shelf, I'd scrape underneath them real quick and get the stuff, throw the paper back down. Try not to get bit, put up a little shield. But no.
What's cool is she's a big girl, almost 100 pounds, and she sits up on her shelf 80% of the day. Yeah. Massive shelf that she just likes to chill on.
Yeah. How many eggs does she lay, or did she lay the last couple times, or last time? I don't know how many times she's laid for you.
The first clutch she had with me, which was her third clutch ever. So she laid 32, but there were 8 slugs. The most fertile eggs that she's given me on clutch 1 and clutch 2 were coincidentally both 24.
Oh,
yeah. We'll see what she does this year on her third. She just had her pre-lay shed on Saturday, so she's due to lay at about 30 days or so.
You gonna grab any holdbacks from that clutch?
Yeah. I regret my first clutch. I only held back one female, and I regretted that. So this time I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna keep back 2.2, and I might release one of the females or one of the males, but I'm gonna, now that I have that focus with Solaire, I'm gonna be keeping some back.
Nice. Some of your holdbacks, sorry, I don't mean to cut in. I'm just kind of getting on the size thing, 'cause I'm really curious. Some of your holdbacks, you have a female still from your holdback you did?
So
how was her growth?
Yeah, I have a female, and my buddy James, actually, he's one of my employees and a good friend of mine. He comes over, helps out with the snakes. He bought a female, so we both have females, and he actually has fed his, we did this on purpose. He has fed his primarily poultry, and I have fed mine primarily rodents. And so we're looking at growth rates just to kind of test just to kind of see, but she's actually not that big. She's going to be 2 years old, probably mid-year or towards the end. I forgot. Wait, no. Actually, no, 2 years old. No, they just turned 2, I believe.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah, and they're probably at about like the 4 foot mark.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah. And again, Solaire's like my female that I have, she's she had her first clutch at 7 years old, and when you looked at her on a clutch of, I mean, she was like 9 feet. She laid her first clutch. So that's why people, when people say adult size retic, right? When people are talking about like, oh, well, what size are the parents? Age is so important. She had her first clutch at 7 years old and was less than 10 feet. Now she's on her 5th clutch ever at 16 years old, and she's almost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, hold on.
You
Can
do
we go
get that
backwards first? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You get that question a lot. How big were the parents? And then you tell them, and nobody ever asks how old they are.
Exactly. Yeah, normally I answer that question, this size in this many years, right? So yeah.
Yeah. I always like overshoot, like even whatever my female is, I'll overshoot her by like a foot or two and just let them know like that top end is going to be a while till you get there, but it's possible, it's out there. But I mean, when I first got into them, and probably like you, because I think we got into them right around the same time, probably talked around the same chats around like with the Reach Out Reptiles videos and such. But, like everyone would like, it was really weird about their sizing and talking about it and all that jazz. But I don't know, man. It's a sticky wicket, as they like to say, to get into talking about size and predictions of your babies. People don't like when you do that, because there's always a capability or possibility that you have a freak animal that just is just like people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not 7 foot, but they fucking sure exist. I watch the NBA.
Yeah, I got Wemby here in my backyard. He's a freaking alien.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, don't throw him away.
But yeah, no, I'm a. So this whole idea of like does size matter? Like I think it's a yes and a no ordeal, right? Like if you're obsessed with reticulated pythons and you just love the animals, at some point I think size is not going to matter. It mattered for me when I first got into it, but as you get comfortable and you start to grow with these animals, you realize you can have a larger retic, and then you end up getting one. It's going to happen. I can guarantee almost anybody who starts with super dwarfs will then fiddle with a 25% Calotoa because it's a beautiful morph, right? And then they're working towards the larger animals, right? So, but then size does matter because we all need to be responsible and know what we're getting into, right? And you know what's hot right now is making every beautiful new morph in as small as possible, right? So, you know, the market would maybe suggest that size matters. But I don't know. Lately, I've seen the mainland market start to really increase and step up. There's been some really awesome pairings being done in the mainland world.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys noticed or anything, but I was going on one path and I completely forgot, so I had to trail off and come up with something on the fly. But what I was trying to say and what I was trying to get into is the caging. When we first got into it with super dwarfs, and I think what drove us to wanting to get a retic and smaller was the lack of like good caging, affordable caging, clean caging, sizing, and stuff like that. And I feel like rapidly over the last few years, like sizing of cages and different types of availability and having them be relatively inexpensive and shipped to your house and that kind of stuff, that has changed the game when it's come to size. I mean, for me, it's made me more open to getting bigger snakes. It's like, oh, well, I can order a customs cage or I can get an 8-foot cage. Where back in the day, it's like, oh, I'd have to build that out of like plywood and stuff. And that's going to get nasty, or you're going to have to, stain them or seal them and fill your snake's cage up with toxins and stuff like that. I think that's what's really made the bigger change for people being a little bit more comfortable with bigger snakes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the caging is out there. You can get anything custom made just about now.
The lead times used to be ridiculous too. 20 weeks to get something. Remember that?
My first AP cage was 18 weeks.
Yeah.
I got tall grass reptiles. Do you remember TGR? Were you guys aware of them?
Yeah. Man, that took a while.
Yeah, it took a while. Well, it took a really long time for my last set because they went out of business when I ordered them. So they still haven't come.
Right. That's insane.
So real quick, before I forget, because I want to go back to the very, very jump of this. You said blood red.
Mm-hmm.
That you can have slayers that are blood red.
Okay, so not blood red like boas. So when I think of blood red in a retic, I'm talking about the red orange that's mixed in with like the brown, and it creates It creates this really deep. It's kind of more brown than red, but you can see the red bleeding through. So I guess that's where I'm kind of getting that from. So definitely not blood red like a blood python or one of those crazy ass boas that literally look like demons. But
I was thinking Stillwater hypo. Like I want to see that color in a fucking retic.
I wish.
Like, and that's where my size.
Yeah, I got some Stillwater hypos, and they are freaking gorgeous.
Tormund is about as red as retics get.
Right.
So, because I have a Sunfire Golden Child Orange Ghost Stripe. So he's pretty red-orange, dark, kind of burnt, especially when he's not fired up.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably about as red as we get in retics.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to push that envelope with the Solayers, right? That's why I'm working with the purple OGS with Solayers, and I want to separate. So I want to, with the Solayers, I want to make the obviously the purple Sun Tiger OGS combo, but I plan to separate the OGS from the purple. I want to make high percentage. I'm talking about like 87.5% Solayer OGS Sunfires. I think that those are going to be some pretty awesome looking animals.
What do you think about like orange glow. Do you think that's any more red, or do you think the purple is going to sustain that orange or that color? I mean, not red, but like, do you think the purple is going to sustain the orange more than like an orange glow will?
I think what makes an orange in a T positive albino is the amount of black on the base form of that animal, right? And so Soleils have thick blacks, and so I think that's what's going to maintain those deep purples. To me, in my limited experience, I used to have an orange glow. In my limited experience with seeing and working with orange glow, I'm able to point them out more because this is going to sound crazy. And I'm sure everyone in the chat's probably going to eat me alive for this. Jake works with orange glow, and I saw him here. So maybe Jake Klotz can comment on this. But for some reason, orange glows to me look like they have more vibrant yellow. Like they look more yellow than purples.
You're not alone in that. You're definitely not alone on that. It's like, okay, so just for the record, so everyone understands, I work in a body shop. So when people say color, right? Painters, I talk to painters that don't keep reptiles, and I'm like, do you see purple in this animal? And they're like, no, you're on fucking drugs, bro. That's not fucking purple. That's a different hue. That's a different color base. That's a different tint, you know? So I get where you're coming from, because I think you're looking at orange glow like a painter.
Right.
I see yellow too. I'm like, that's more yellow.
It looks a little yellow.
That's also why when you said blood red, I'm like, oh shit, finally, like an actual fucking red is out there. Like, what the fuck? Let's go.
I wish. No.
Blood red relative to retics for sure.
Right, exactly. We can all fantasize, right?
Yeah, no, the reason I brought up the orange glow, because I had an orange glow. She was very kind of orange in her younger pictures, and she's definitely yellowing out. So like, I do like the darker purple, how that sustains in the orange glow versus like the purples I've had. But
purples definitely can lighten over time. That one really slept on, and it's starting to gain more popularity. Form of albino that I think is the king of purple.
Don't say white.
No, it's the king of purple. No, is Indo-Caramel, right?
Yeah.
And then also Jake is sleeping on a bunch of blonde projects too. No one's working with blonde anymore, and those are sexy animals.
Yep.
Oh, Ghost. Yeah, Jason made a good point. Ghost has some really nice purples too. I think Ghost in the purple stands out because they have that bone white background color.
Yep.
So it really makes the can definitely.
It's almost weird because it's almost like a snow and one more kind of. It's like a half step to a snow, like the Retic Ghost, especially as they age and they get that bone white head and the bone white undertones. Like it's like a weird half step to it.
Yeah, Ghost is my favorite.
Yeah, it's slept on for sure. Why do you think? I mean, this is getting a little off top. Why do you think Retic Ghost is so slept on?
I don't think it's slept on. I think everyone loves it, but for anyone who's known and been in the Ghost game for a little bit, knows that there's kind of a little curse with Ghosts. For some reason, when you produce visual ghosts, more than half of them will end up dying after they pip out of the egg. So it's not an easy albino to produce. Yeah, Jake's a big fan of blonde. I love blonde. I think blonde is super underrated. But yeah, so
somebody have to put me on game.
I think that's the issue with Ghost, is that there's mortality issues. For some reason, Ghost is an albino project that if you stick with it, you're going to be known as one of the Ghost people, right? There's only like maybe a couple people that are really known for Ghost right now. Obviously, Ben Retic was, but everybody who gets in, I think, gets out because they struggle to produce the visuals. It's a heartbreak project. If you love Ghosts, do it because you love them, but it is going to break your heart.
Well, then that's out, boys. No Ghosts for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be willing to take it on at that.
I got an anthrax ghost in my garage right now that me and my employees were taking to a ternate female. So, yeah,
nice.
It's a double visual ghost anthrax. He is stellar.
I want to go back on one of Jake's comments real quick because I finally feel like I'm not alone here. So. Does size matter, right? Is the big question of the hour. And to me, it doesn't 100%. I mean, I'm pretty sure Jake is, again, I'm getting up to speed with everybody and just remembering Jake's mainly a mainland guy, right?
Only a mainland guy.
Only mainland. Okay. So that's where I got my start, was with mainlands, because I've always had a joy for the bigger snakes. And it's not like one of those like ego fucks that are out there. Like I have to have the big snakes. I literally love the big fucking snakes. Like they're just, it's the same thing as dogs to me. The more animal there is, the better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they're big, they're intimidating, they're fun, there's a challenge. Like you guys have brought up the caging, thinking outside the, like you have to think outside the box when it comes to mainlands. If you're going to house them correctly and do all the things, you have to think outside the box. You're not going to find a PVC enclosure at a reasonable price that's going to be sufficient for a mainland. You're going to have to build something, have somebody custom make something. But that's how I came into it, was like with all that already in my head. Like if I'm going to keep mainlands, this is what I got to do. And
well, I mean, there's that Custom Cages company that makes these badass like modular cages that not only like modular in the sense that you can make them like, I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong, like 8'4" by 8 or whatever tall, but then you can like separate them out, and then not Apex, it's literally called Custom Cages. They're crazy.
Apex did it first.
They're a lot different than Apex. They're a lot different than Apex.
Yeah, I mean, I even know. Shout out to my buddy Jordan with Heartland Reptiles and his, his aluminum enclosures. I mean, he can make L-shaped to go in like corner walls that open up, right? His cages are modular. You can put a 4-foot next to a 6-foot and make a 10-foot. You can. Yeah, he's got some awesome options that you can utilize with that, and the material is bulletproof. I mean not literally, but they're way more durable than anything else.
Yeah.
I have one of his enclosures. Well, actually, I have multiple, but one Retic enclosure, and I love them.
Yeah,
but that's a good point. You know, the size, you know, and someone in the comments said, isn't that the whole point of owning a retic, right? The large snake and everything. And I think that's been a mentality for retics for a while. But one of the things that I noticed about the larger retics too, after keeping some mainlands and superdwarf stuff, when you have a good behaved mainland retic, they're puppy dogs. Like they open up the enclosure. You know, they're slower moving. They're a little bit more curious and less wanting to like get away from you, versus, you know, I've worked with, you know, from what I've produced, you know, at least 100 superdwarfs, and they're always moving in your hands. They're always just you're always just moving with them.
They're less confident too.
Yeah,
when it, like you're holding a mainland and you're holding, I mean, from hatchling to adult, you can get the super dwarfs to come around, but like from a hatchling, there's a lot of mainlands that I've held like almost fresh out of the egg that are just confident. They don't care.
Yeah.
They know they're an apex predator. They know they're large and they're going to be large and in charge is the best way I would say it. And then like Bill's fucking Karampa is just super defensive. Doesn't want anything to do with anybody. Like it just has an immediate defense, and it's because they're smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, you work with colubras now, so you know, like the smaller the snake, normally the more defensive or cantankerous they're going to be.
My baby king rat snakes I have right now, they don't make me bleed, but they light me up 20 times in like 10 seconds. And then I have some adult, you know, wild caught Thailand Pitayas carinatas, and they're chill.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
They're chill.
Okay.
Yeah. They're, I mean, I wouldn't say they're chill. They move, but they don't bite.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they're still flighty though, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're constantly moving, and they'll turn back on you and go over your head and just kind of move around. You got to really hold them like you're holding a hot. But yeah, they're awesome animals.
They're on that list if you want to get into hots, get this species, work with it, and then get into it.
Yeah, I'm not getting into hots, but I do like my Pitayas carinata.
They're fun, man. They're a really good species.
We are saying then that size does matter in correlation with temperament. The reason why I say that is because I noticed the super dwarfs are jumpy, the dwarfs are less jumpy, and by the time I get to my mainlands, I can touch them without a flinch.
Yeah,
you know, and it just seems like the closer you get to more mainland blood, the more relaxed at least the hatchlings are.
Right. No, I agree, and And you know, all of what we're talking about, right? We're making some generalizations based off of working with multiple animals and things like that, because I've also seen people that have high percentage super dwarfs that they can go in their cage and just pet their snakes' heads, and right. So there's always going to be the exceptions.
I was about to be the one that says I disagree. I produce in all of my super dwarf clutches except for one clutch, all the babies were extremely sweet, just like their mom. And then the clutch that was an asshole, guess what? Their mom was an asshole too. So I don't know. That might be genetic or hereditary, or might be some sort of like the hormones that she's producing that makes her a little bit more scared or whatever, just gets transferred into that whole embryo follicle transfer or something like that, which maybe passes on it that way. But my super dwarfs, like Celeste, for instance, like her clutch and every clutch from that pairing, even the one with Jeremiah, I mean, all those babies were extremely sweet. I mean, crawling right out onto my hand from the egg.
Right. Yeah, no, I will say, so I've produced clutch of Kayawati, 2 clutch of Kalatoas, and all of those babies were very sweet, but they were still movers. Right, like
that's the thing.
Yeah, they were still movers, right? They were constantly moving in your hands and everything, and trying to go up, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, none of them were defensive. My most defensive clutch of baby retics was my het ocelot clutch with tigers. Every tiger from that clutch, I'd open up their tub, and their mouth would be wide open, just like ready to light me up.
That's so wild. So wild. The thing with super dwarfs, they just are movers. They like to climb, they like to go up. That's the thing. Like they'll move with confidence. Whereas like some of my mainland stuff, or like my dwarf stuff that's bigger, now that they're getting a little bit bigger, they're just kind of not even sub adults, but like kind of out of the baby stage. They're awkward as shit when they're up off the ground. Like they're awkward climbing and like not really like sure what they're supposed to be doing. They're good when they were little, but now as they're getting a little bit bigger, they're just kind of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Lee's got that Kayawati from your clutch of Kayawatis right now. We got it paired up to a couple ladies.
Yeah, I hope one of those ladies is a visual anery.
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Hopefully that male proves out for you.
Yeah, I mean, I say she's visual anery. It's one of those weird super motley clutches where you can't really tell, but I mean, you can tell. Like especially when she's a baby, you could tell. Even now, you can still really tell. So she's a super motley anery, possible tiger, possible golden child, and then she's het albino.
Okay,
so
that's gonna be a badass clutch.
And then his other pairing's a pure old school girl. So
cool.
Yep.
That's gonna be a fun clutch.
Send me some pics when you can. I want to see his size progression. Yeah. You know what? I tell people all the time when they buy my snakes, like, hey, send me updates whenever.
Yeah.
I only got like a handful of people that send me freaking updates. I'm like, you.
Yeah, he's all of maybe like 5.5 feet, maybe.
He's a mover too.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, that whole Kayawati clutch again. They were all total sweethearts. Not one of them bit me, but they were all movers. I
will say his head, like. His head's very unique.
Super narrow.
Yeah. Very uniquely shaped. Like as soon as I saw him and I look at some of these other ones, I'm like, oh, that is obvious. And I see it's probably why you want to work with Slayer, because that's like the head shape I prefer. Right. And if you can work that in, which was it you that made the Slayer Toas, or was that someone else?
That was me. Yeah.
Yeah. I almost got one of your Slayer Toas a few months ago. I loved that snake because of its head shape and structure, and then it had the right pattern and color of like the Kalatoa, but the head structure looked more Tom Belonging. So
yeah, that was probably like definitely like I think my second favorite clutch I've ever produced. That the Salaya clutch. It was crazy how strong the Slayer influence came out on those animals. The head shape, the color, some of the patterns.
They really looked like Tom Belongings, dude. Yeah. They really did.
Yeah. I'm hesitant to say this, but I originally told myself it was going to be a one and done.
Please no.
But I do have I held back a female, and so I think what I might do next is either take a Slayer male to her or a Kalatoa male to her. Probably do it both ways, right? To get the 75% of both localities. I'd like to see how far I can push the super dwarf percentage while maintaining the Slayer look, if that makes sense.
No, it totally does, because that's kind of like my unique angle. Like when I was trying to get the Slayer Toa, I have a 25% Slayer girl, and I was going to try to work and finagle some genetic like looks in with that, trying to do the same thing, kind of thicken up those blacks, kind of have an idea of trying to make a mainland looking snake, but small.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people's goal out there, right?
Yeah.
Is bringing all the color, the pattern, everything that you get in the beautiful large animals and trying to just shrink them down to a little bit more manageable size. Now, for me, again, size does matter in the sense of like my sweet spot is like a 12, 13 foot retic. That's my favorite. That's my favorite size. Large enough to like, you respect the hell out of it, right? And it's still an impressive snake. When people see it, they're like, oh my gosh, a big snake, right? And like, but not overly big to where you don't, where you don't feel confident taking it out yourself.
Yeah. My thing's always been the food bill.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. My Slayer female, I'll feed her like a 8 to 10 pound rabbit every like 7-8 weeks. And I have a local rabbit person that once it gets over 5 pounds, she just charges me $15 for the rabbit. So
that's not bad.
If you think about $15 and you're feeding it every 2 months, that's, but I also cycle her, so I feed her more at certain parts of the year. But if you're not cycling, right, and you're feeding every 2 months, that's 6 meals, but let's just count it as 8 meals, right? Or 9 meals. That you're still only spending, $100, maybe $200 a year for that animal. I think that's the math. I'm a therapist. I'm not a mathematician. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Like, obviously, pet-wise, I think that's also, too, like, pet-wise, that's not bad. It's actually almost, like, more economical if you think about it, because these rats
it costs me $250 a month to feed my dogs, man.
Dude, well, even just the snakes I have with, like, the small ordered, like, doing the different size rats or whatever was, like, $300-400, and it's lasted me, like, a month and a half, 2 months, and it's like, I'm going to have to do that again. So, I mean, like, that's where I was getting into, is, like, as a breeder, I feel like that food bill can really pick up when you're feeding them pigs and rabbits pretty regularly, especially when you're trying to go through that growth stage. That's where the cost kind of gets me.
In 2023, I think I spent $9,000 on food.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
That's a big bill.
It's a big ass bill. I was not happy about it. That's the height.
Fucking car.
That was the height of when rodents were starting to skyrocket, and then pigs and rabbits. I didn't have a good rabbit source at the time. Now I can get my rabbits really cheap.
I was gonna say I just paid fucking $40 for the one I just got for my big ass one. That's insane.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it's Texas.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, if you're buying your rabbits online, you're doing it wrong. You need to find someone local. There's people that breed rabbits for rabbit meat and everything. You just ask them to cull it, don't grind, don't do anything, and they're like, "Oh, that's easy," and they'll sell it to you for like $200, or they'll sell it to you for like $250 a pound.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of one out in Arizona that's reliable.
I got a number.
There you go.
That's reliable.
I have never called it, but I have never called it.
Never tried.
I was going to say, if somebody watching the podcast, you got to plug in Arizona as a reliable source for more than, I'd say 2 months, let me know, because
one thing I will say is, especially in Arizona and a place like Texas or Florida, rabbit breeders do not do well in the summer, right? So always stock up on as much as you can in the fall and in the winter, because come, spring and summertime, when it starts to get hot, those rabbit kits die. They don't make it. They don't do well. They don't breed well in the summer.
That's facts.
Well, shit. I mean, that's like 10 months in Arizona. That's probably why you guys can't find a good one. You only get 2 months to stock up.
Exactly.
It was fucking 85 the other day, bro. Fucking middle of February, 85 fucking degrees.
I feel that. It was 82 here, last week.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So you're not far. Okay.
Yeah, it was 80 today, I think, up here.
Yeah.
I'm in Austin, so I'm not too far away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Lee, you're in Austin?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yep. I moved out here almost 2 years ago.
You need to come over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come see the lab.
Absolutely. I'll hit you up after this directly. Yeah. We'll set that up. I mean, we go down. My in-laws go to San Antonio all the time. Probably not as much anymore since they moved to New Mexico, but it's not that far for us. Six Flags, all that other shit's down there. So
Exactly.
yeah, absolutely. We'll have to do that. What do you? I mean, currently, so what does your collection look like now, and like, what's the direction going, and like, what's the goal?
Yeah. So
does it have anything to do with size?
Yeah, it does actually.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean my food bill, right? $9,000 in the year 2023, right? So there's many reasons why I started cutting down my collection. One of the main reasons was for I do plan on getting back to school and getting my PhD. And I have just the snakes take a lot of time, a lot of energy. I have now a second daughter, right? And so who's a baby, and I'm trying to not be pulled away by the snakes so much. Plus I also have a full-time job, and so it just doing it for 6 years started becoming a lot. I grew my collection really quick. I had my first clutch of Kalatoas that I sold in 2021, and I basically put all that money in that one clutch. I think was like $40K, and I put all of that money back into snakes. And just started building, right? At one point had 9 localities or 8 localities, and was working on different locality pairings. It probably had one of the best locality collections in Texas. But now, I probably have, outside of babies that I have for sale with retics, I probably have like less than 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I probably have 10 to 12, maybe 14, 13 carpet pythons.
Okay.
I have 7 or 8 chondros.
Okay.
I have a pair of Pitys carinata. I have a pair of still. What was that?
What is that? I don't speak Latin.
Oh, you got to go layman.
King Koros, or what are they called? Keeled rat snakes.
Yeah, sorry, I only speak Greek. I don't speak Latin, so
that's okay.
You're gonna have to translate a little bit.
That's okay. I got a pair of keeled rat snakes, a pair of king rat snakes. I have 2.1 olive pythons, head albino.
Ooh.
How are those to work with?
They're badass. I love them.
Really?
Yeah, they are such cool animals.
They're not assholes?
No, they're not. Shit. Now every once in a while, like one of my employees will clean that rack frequently. Like that's like one of his favorite racks to clean. And every once in a while he'll take him out and it's chilling, and then maybe think his hand is food and we'll bite him and wrap. So they do have a good food drive, like retics. Let's see. I mentioned the chondros. I also have so I mentioned the still water hypo pair. I also have a Kankakee bull snake pair.
Okay.
And I have one beautiful female Sri Lankan python.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
So I the first like 4 years of me having snakes was at least in my adult life and breeding was all retics. I started diversifying, and that like lit up the passion again. I felt like I was like when I was a kid. I had a bunch of different type of snakes, and so I think that I made the mistake of going in too heavy with the retics. I love retics. They're still up there and my favorite snakes, but like getting to work with old world colubrids and new world colubrids and even carpet pythons, man. Like carpet pythons are so slept on and underrated as such an amazing first snake for people to keep. 5-foot animal. A lot of them are workable, manageable. There are some localities, right? So all of my carpets are all different localities. So I have a pair of Darwin. I have a pair of Brettles. I have a pair of Jungles. I have like 6 Popwins. Nice. Yeah, they're
no coastals?
Beautiful. No coastals. Yeah, I'm waiting to get some some high percentage M pen coastals.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the line I want to work with.
Where the
Yeah,
hell did Riley go?
I was into carpets for a little bit. I mean, like interested in them. Like I did a lot of research and a lot of looking into snakes before I got back into them as an adult. But I mean, I had all sorts of different shit as a kid. I had a Savannah monitor as like one of my first animals, like a sub-adult one at like 10 years old. Probably wasn't like the right thing. She was awesome for me, but like, so that's what I ended up doing. And then got a bunch of ball pythons and boas and stuff like that. And then I was doing a bunch of research, and I had a Woma python, which was pretty cool. And I got really into like awesome Australian species, like the dwarf and all their monitor species I got really into, and then the carpet pythons and stuff like that. But then I found the super dwarfs and the care and the temperatures and the food and everything. I don't know. I just fell in love with them. So now if I feel like I'm even looking at a different species, I feel like I'm cheating on them.
Right. No, I mean, super dwarfs.
How'd you get over that?
I mean, they will always have a special place in my heart. And yeah, it did feel weird at first. But then I finally, I think when I got my hands on a pair of bull snakes that Patrick Holmes produced, he sold them to me for, as a friend, pennies on the dollars. And I was like, holy shit, this is so much different than a retic, and in a cool way. I was like, what else is out there? So
dude, it's well, you already fucking know it's a dangerous game you're playing right there.
It is. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I always forget about him, but I also have an Amazon tree boa, who's actually super sweet and handleable. He's awesome. His name is he's a Halloween face, so I named him Michael after Michael Myers.
That's cool as shit. That talk about slept on species right there.
They're cool as hell, and supposedly they're easy as hell to breed. I don't know if I'll ever breed them, but mine's like 3.5, 4 years old. I don't even know if it's a male or female.
What are we talking about? I'm sorry, I zoned out for
Amazon tree boas.
Amazon tree boas. I have one. Yeah,
I like them. I think they're pretty cool. I prefer the green tree python, to be fair.
Yeah, no, my chondros are. So when we talk about like the size matter, right? And you mentioned like the size of my collection, and did it have to do with size? I remember I went to Bill Stiegel's pregame party for the Arlington NARBC, and it was the first time that I went to his place. I've been obsessed with green tree pythons longer than I've been obsessed with retics. I never got them because I was too scared, because everyone says they're hard to keep, and that was just how it was back in the day, that they would die and blah blah blah. So I was like, you know what, it's a dream species I'll never keep. Fun fact: 20 times easier to keep than a retic. If you can keep a retic alive, you can keep a chondro alive. Chondros are so freaking easy. But anyways, I went to Bill's place, and he has like a little mini house behind his house. And I walked in there, and the amount of animals that this guy had in this area was insane compared to like if you had retics in 8-foot cages in that place.
Oh yeah.
You're keeping a fraction of retics in the space that you can. And so, being that I'm not rich, and being that I don't have a lot of land, I only have my wife has a rule: no snakes in the house. So I have my garage. My garage is 400 square feet, right? So then I started thinking like, well, I can only keep so many retics in here if I'm going to keep them ethically, right? I'm not going to shove a 10-foot retic in a 4-foot cage. So yeah, just I moved out some retics. And on top of that, you guys know retics are demanding. They piss a shit ton. They poop all the time. They're a dirty snake, and most retics don't mind sitting in their piss, and that's also not fun.
I'm struggling with that right now. Just to let you know, so I'm on the opposite of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
These two talk me into going fucking head first into retics. And I'm struggling.
He did.
I'm struggling with going the opposite. Like, I'm going against the grain of what you're going with, and I'm fucking struggling right now, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I love retics. I've loved them for a long time, but I'm fucking that space thing that you just brought up. We're on the same thing. I'm not rich,
man. My
space is limited, and I'm looking at my room right now, and I'm like, if I were to get Bill 6 of these things back, I could have 8 different species of colubrids in here right now that
Easy.
are a lot funner to work with too, because it's the same snake
Easy.
over and over and over again, which I love them. But it's, for me, that's diversity has been right after I got out of fucking boas. I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not dedicating to one species. I'm doing multiple, and that's where I found colubrids.
Yeah, no. I also kept an anaconda for a little bit. That was kind of a nightmare for us.
They scare me.
So we
I
had
love
a
them,
green.
but they're
We had
fucking
we had
scary.
a green. Bought it as a
Shout out to
baby.
Meg.
And real quick, I do want to answer this question. So Amber in the comments said, "What easier than a retic as far as chondros go?" Yeah. So here's the thing about chondros. They poop every 3 weeks. When they piss, it's little droplets, and they stay perched. So if you want to clean them, you literally open up the enclosure, spray them with water, you replace their paper, or you use a shovel and you shovel out some cocoa chips, you place some new one, and you spray down their enclosure, you put it back in. Most of the captive bred ones are handleable. They have almost the same type of requirements as retics do. They require 60-70% humidity, not wet, humid air. And they are and fresh water. Give them fresh water and make sure that you don't dry them out. And they're so easy to keep and clean up after. It is ridiculous. And for me, it's even easier because, again, my entire garage is ambient. Not a single snake out of all the species that you guys heard me keep right now, which I surprised myself at how many I have. Because, again, 2 years ago, I only had retics. But I keep all of them in 82 to 84 on the high end, and then at night 80 to 82, and then during the cool season I let the garage drop down to 76 at night, and then it still gets up to 83 during the day. Nothing has a heat source, and they're all thriving in there. So it makes it even easier to keep the chondros, because I don't have to worry about a hotspot, a probe. I don't have to worry about thermostats beeping and being unplugged and all that bullshit. So yeah, keeping chondros is a walk in the park compared to a retic for me.
Do you do localities with them, or are you designer with the chondros? Like, what's your thing with those?
Locality. So I have a pair of Arus, I have a Jayapura, I have 3 or 4 Beox. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay. I sold my my designers. I had a few designers and I sold them. I do have, no, I guess it's not a designer, it's a locality cross. It's a Tamika Aru cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't really decide when I was like looking at those two. I think I like the designer, like the Bill Siegel, like he has got some of that crazy ass shit with the blacks and the like. I don't know. It's hard for me not to want to go that route, because like when you go localities with them, I don't know too much, but there's not much of a difference in them. I don't think. Like, I don't know. Like
there's a big difference, and here's what I would, if anyone's gonna get into chondros, my recommendation would be to get localities that have the features that you want. Like if you want to make melanistic, like black pixelated ones, get Beox, right? Beox come in black, and they will naturally have some black in them. And then what I always tell people is get the like if you want localities that have blue, get northerns, right? Get or you want to get Maniquaries or Waminas, right? And then start line breeding those animals to enhance the blue or the black that you want, and create your own route of designer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it just takes too long.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised after the 3rd generation, people are making some pretty sick animals.
Dude, yeah. I'm telling you, Bill Stiegel will be posting some shit on his Facebook, bro. And I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, they look fake.
I got into the wrong fucking shit, man.
For real though, like the real thing that might get me to jump like onto a different species is the Madagascar tree boa.
They're so badass.
I love those so much.
Have you ever held a Sanzinia?
No.
Mm-mm.
I challenge you at your next expo. Or I'll tell you what. Bill, is Golden Coast coming to yours again in March? I don't remember. The vendor list is
I think so.
Long.
I have to check the list, but I think
in March, if he's coming, go to his table, hold a Sanzinia, And I promise you, the whole fucking world's about to change.
If I was gonna say, if Bill holds one in March, he will have one by April. I guarantee it.
I'm kind of different than you guys. I've had just about everything because I've had a shop, and every time I took something home with the best intentions of keeping it, I always said, "Why don't I just get another retic?" And then
so fucking limited though. You don't even know.
But what have I had? You know all the stuff I've had, Levi. I've
That's
raised
true.
Eastern indigos. I've raised xanthic blacktail crebos. I've had boas. I've had ball pythons. I've had everything. And to me, nothing compares to a retic. But that's just me.
I will say, out of all the snakes that we've been talking about, and out of all the snakes that I have, the one that I have the most pleasure with interacting with is always going to be a retic.
Yeah, there's just something about their personalities. Like this one I have is like a puppy dog. Like, I mean, I'm not kidding. Like she sleeps on my lap when I'm at work. Like, and I take her out. Like, she's just got a personality unlike anything else. But yeah. I mean, it's so hard. Like with Bill, I'm like, I love those snakes and their personalities are so good. And like, I love bull snakes and shit, but they usually, like, the reason people like them is because they've got hissy, shitty attitudes. And to be fair, like, that's not what I want. Like, that's not the experience, the ride I want to go.
That's funny because neither of my bulls have attitudes.
Everyone I've ever encountered.
That's like saying mainlands are going to eat you.
No, that's why I don't eat it. When I literally have actual experience with every single one I've interacted with being a dickhead, and I've never ever said and never been attacked and had fucking retics. What? No, not.
They calm. So yeah, they're again a smaller species, so you gotta have some patience. But they calm down. They don't continue to have that.
Honestly, I would consider bull snakes a great pet for a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, I'm not like, I get it. It's just like the fact that I've bred these retics and I've had babies that are just
amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. It's just like, why would I deal with that? Or even have like, and then for those, it's a 50-50, 75-25. You're going to get a dickhead you're going to have to work through. And it's just like, I'd rather go with like the higher chance of having a really cool personality snake. Like, out of all the 10 I have one that's an asshole. You know, and he's already calming down like pretty significantly now.
Yeah,
so
I got a male Halmahera in my garage right now that his name is Dexter after the show because he's out for blood.
Yeah, hey, that's not a bad name.
He's the dark passenger.
Yeah, I'm doing a whole Game of Thrones thing because he's the orange glow one. So Tormund's that redheaded wildling guy because he's fucking wild and red or orange. So that. It fits right in, but I had to get him out for feeding and he was fine. But like the first 3 weeks, he was just not happy.
My Karampa hates human beings.
That's so interesting. I would have never imagined that.
Yeah, the Karampa I had was sweeter than shit.
Yeah. That's.
I don't know. I don't know why mine does not like people.
He said he's gonna make you earn what you produce with him.
Yeah,
I had her out today, and she was pretty good. But when she's tubbed right now, when she's in her tub, she absolutely wants to bite the hook, bite you, just crazy, in that tub. And when you get her out, she'll strike too. But she's a lot better when you get her out. But in that tub, she's a demon.
You want to know what I've done with baby retics that are like that? I just give them larger meals, and it fixes the behavior. It's a weird thing. I give them larger meals, and I put a big ass lump in them, and let them sit, go through a shed, digest, and repeat that. And then after a little bit, they start to become more handleable. I don't know why. Maybe it's my brain wanting to think that it works that way, but that's been my experience. Is anytime that I have a retic that is not fun to work with, I give them bigger meals. They become easier to work with.
That's interesting. I just do it the old-fashioned way. I let it bite me and realize that it's not going to work.
See, I'm such a bitch. I still don't like getting bit. I hate getting bit. Lucas.
I'm with you. I've been my whole life. I've been bit. What was it now, guys? Four times I've been bit my whole life.
So outside of these king rat snakes that I have that literally just like they don't break blood, but as far as retic bites, I've been again keeping them for 6 years. I've maybe been bit 6-7 times.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I can't relate.
Like two times by retics for me. Two other times for ball pythons.
Yeah, I think the first time I got
almost a daily basis.
It took me 3.5 years to get my first bite from a retic.
Yeah.
I got a lot of retic bites. I don't know how many.
I don't put up with that shit.
That's
like
because
it.
you unbox plenty of them.
Well, that's true. But typically, though, I find that like 3 handling sessions of an hour each, and almost 95% of those retics are done. They realize, hey, he's not going to hurt me, and then it's over. Almost every time. Even a lot of times they're bitey when they're little, and then like I said, 2-3 handling sessions, short handling sessions, and they're smart. They figure it out.
Yeah. That's again the other thing about retics that again they're always going to have a place in my heart is the social intelligence that they have. Yeah. Very, very smart, inquisitive. They do so well with patterns, and like they pick up on your patterns, and if you stay consistent with them, they're gonna know you.
Yeah, I mean that's what I use. Like my method's more like the Tom Crutchfield, like let the animal dictate the interaction. But I've like my best luck of changing like a shitty attitude retic is like going with them every day, opening up their cage and letting them come out on their own. Once they've like engaged into that inquisitive, curious, I'm going to go investigate. It's a different mindset when you start to interact with them. And then they just realize you're another object in the room to crawl on and that kind of stuff. And it like kind of, it rewires their brain with you when you let them come out in that mindset versus if they're coming out firing and pistoling. You're overcoming. You'll eventually get there, but you're having to overcome it with such a negative experience. So it's going to prolong that. Whereas opposed if I just let him chill for 3 or 4 weeks and I come in there every day and open up the cage and eventually he climbs out, that whole thing has changed.
Yeah. I've done. I've been doing more now that I have less retics. I've been doing a lot more choice-based handling. Yeah. Just open up the cage and let them come out when they want to.
Yep.
And if you let them come out, it usually always ends up in a phenomenal experience. But yeah, I mean, Jason made a good point in the comments. He said, damn, ball pythons, draw blood once a week, retics almost never. Like I couldn't agree more. It takes, I have to like, at least in my experience, I have to like want to get bit by my retics. I don't have, like I said, I really only have one grumpy retic in the garage, and it's a little baby Halmahera.
Yeah, I think at this point, like for us, like getting bit is like is a mistake on our end. Like we didn't do one of our processes right because it's a process when you're going to handle a retic, which I think people forget. It's like, oh, you don't just reach in there. Like, yeah, if I went in there and just reached into every single one of my retics cages with my hand, yeah, I'm gonna get bit every single day by every single one of them. But if I do my procedure, the head tap, pull them out with the hook, throw my hand underneath them, and I never get bit. I mean, that's just like, that's the case. And if that's the scenario, like I have none that are going to do that I'm just going to pull them out and they're going to continue to bite. The one male I had did do that. Like the second day I had him when he was all nervous and he shitting it was probably a bad trip for him coming out. But yeah, I mean, it's a procedure when you're dealing with retics. Like, and now knowing and how I'm dealing with these, I probably wouldn't handle any other snake any differently.
Yeah.
Tap training, hooking, all that shit. I would do every single snake, hot to colubrid.
That's what
whatever.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But size does matter. Size matters with that bite, buddy.
Yeah,
it sure does.
Size definitely does matter with that.
I was just about. I'll take a bite from any of my snakes in the collection except for that fucking mainland.
Yeah, I think the one that got me was probably the size. Was probably a little bit smaller than Jez, and I mean, and she just kind of got a glancing food strike on like my elbow. Like I was pulling my elbow up. Like I didn't even know she was striking. I like lifted it up. She was reaching. I was just out of her reach. And that like scrape, dude, I was bleeding so bad. And like once I wiped everything off, you couldn't even see the marks. It's just like the whole thing is a wild experience, but they'll make you bleed bad.
One thing that I will say, size doesn't matter with the significant bite on a retic is a male breeder bite. I don't care if it's a 6-foot Kalatoa or a 12-foot mainland. A male that bites you in breeder combat mode is still gonna F you up no matter what.
Dude, I'll tell you right fucking now. I haven't been bitten yet, but my male pied is in that mode, and he has shook me more than any fucking venomous snake I've handled out in the field so far.
Yeah.
And I've had some really, really close calls that were just
right
there, right then. And he almost got me a few days ago, and
it's because they're super strong and their tail is extremely prehensile. So if they grab you with that thing, you feel it. Even in that little tail, you'll be, oh my God.
That happened to me a couple weeks. So sometimes I can get a little complacent with one of my retics. It's my male Solaire. I actually just posted. I posted him today. He had just shed. But my male breeder Solaire 2020. He is the sweetest retic in my garage. Like he's a snake that I can open up the enclosure. He comes out just curious, right? I just give him a little scratch on the bottom of his chin with the hook, and we're good to go. I can pull him out, and he's amazing. I take him outside with the neighborhood kids, and they get to see him. Well, I took him out of the female's enclosure a couple weeks ago, and I got him out and grabbed him and was trying to put him in, and I felt that he squeezed my wrist, and he was halfway in the enclosure, squeezed my wrist, turned around at me. I didn't hurt him, okay, but I kind of whacked him on the top of the head with the hook and closed the glass door and unwrapped him and everything. But yeah, man, he was again, it's those breeder males. They'll anchor onto you and they'll turn around and they'll do damage.
See, I got lucky on mine anchored on the hook. If he had anchored onto me, he would have fucking got me, and I'm good.
For me, it's the females that have been the more blood pumping. Like, I guess the males I have been like pretty lame. Like, they're not they weren't my males that I was breeding with. Were not aggressive males. Weren't even really aggressive breeding. Luckily, thank God, he did breed, but he was not combat-y or aggressive in that sense. But my females, like in that cycling phase when their food mode gets really ramped up,
they're savages.
I would have one and I would do the interactions and I'd mess with her and she'd get out. So I'd go to put her in and she would grab, like, just that when they wrap you with their tail and they're really squeezing differently, it's just a different squeeze and you already know they're pissed off and they're hungry and everything's kind of going on. You just get a sheer panic. Your heart starts pumping a little bit. You're just like, God damn it. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. I would just tickle the tail. Like, I get their head in their cage, kind of shut it as tightly as I can on their body and just tickle the tail and just hopefully get the fuck off me.
There's times with my Solaire, the female, the big one, she's I
can't even imagine.
When she's in that intense food mode, there's times where she's launched out of her enclosure. She's got the hook. She wraps the hook. I can't get her undone. I literally put her back in the enclosure with the hook in her mouth. I'm like, all right, let's see what you do. And then I close the enclosure and she never tries to swallow it. She's like, what the hell's this? But so then later I have to go back in there with another hook, keep her away so I can grab the hook.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you can go back in. I'll deal with you later.
Yeah, I want to
you don't want to pull it out.
No.
Yeah. She anchored the hook. I'm like, well, I can shut it enough. Like, we'll shut it, kind of lock the cage in there. I'll get it when you let go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
I've had that happen a couple of times with Jeds, actually.
Females are definitely, they can be cantankerous. They'll flinch, they buck, they are, their food response is crazy. And again, the vast majority of retics that I keep now and that I've kept in the past have been wild caught or F1s. So,
you've had a little bit different experience then.
Yeah, I mean, and what I will say is all of them still very manageable and easy to work with. I do think when it comes to breeding mode, I think that wild caught and F1s tend to have a lot more of that closer to wild-like behavior than a mainland that's been bred for several generations. But yeah, and that's I learned real quick about retics because I had 3 retics at the time for only a year, and I decided to get a wild caught pair of Kalatoas. And I learned real quick what it was like to keep, at the time, my largest snake was like 4 feet. And then I had a 8-foot wild caught female and a 7.5-foot wild caught male. And the male was not a nice snake. During breeding mode, the guy would literally, I'd open up his enclosure, I'd put my hook in there, and he would slam the hook on the top because he was arching, and he would pin the hook up against the glass, and he would try to come out at me. Like, he was strategic with trying to rock me. So I moved his enclosure. So I ended up getting drop down door enclosures for him on purpose. So that way I could put him on top of the female. I'd open up his drop down and open up the female's enclosure when I was doing an introduction. And I would just stand back and let him go into the female's enclosure. And I would just use the hook on the other side to tap the female and make sure she was not in food mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, you can find her yourself. I'm not putting you in there, buddy.
Yep. I would always, because my scariest experiences were always the female food mode, grabbing the male on intro. It only happened a couple times, but that's always like everyone's worst fear until it happens and you can deal with it or whatever. But so I would get to the point where I'd let her come out halfway on one side and let him in on the other and then push her back.
Yeah.
And exactly. Most of the time that's worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. That male taught me real quick on how to be very careful with snakes.
But you and Levi had different experiences. My male was a bitch compared to your guys. He barely arched. I'll
tell you what. I'll send you Copper right now and give you a taste of what these males do, because we all three know Copper was a sissy up until about
a week
ago, and now he is. I just moved him enclosures, and I was public enemy number one. Yeah. I've never seen it with him before.
Let me tell you,
this
Lee.
Is great news.
Lee, let me tell you. Having a male that doesn't arch, that doesn't showboat, is a better breeder than a male that does. And I'll explain why. I have a first time male Kalatoa that I'm pairing to my wild caught female. He's an F1 that I produced. First time breeding, he goes in there and he's arching. He's wailing himself all over the place to the point where he's pissing the female off. The female's getting really irritated. You know, my male Kayuwadi that I use for that Kayuwadi clutch, he would do little baby arches and everything, but would get right on top of the female and just start courting her and just got the job done. He wasn't a showboat. I appreciate the males that are just like, that go in there and then you don't see anything. You go back 2 hours later and they're locked.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like for me, it's been a lot different. So like my breeding and like how I dictate, like everyone always like use the male when he starts arching and acting like that wasn't my case. Mine's always been based off the female's behavior when it's come to timing for breeding, because my male never did that shit, never did that behavior. I had to trust her, and her change in behavior is like, okay, this might be the time to start introducing him.
Yeah, I have a wild caught male Kalatoa in my garage right now, and he there could be no one cycling, or there could be every female cycling. If you get him out, he's gonna spur your arm.
That's so funny.
He literally would. You put a water hose in there and he'll lock.
Yeah, that's the old line.
Yeah. No, he's a great breeder.
That's awesome. Yeah, I keep telling these guys, I'm like, watch your male, see if he's spurring, because if he's spurring her, it's gonna happen. Like it's gonna happen. Yeah. But if he's not spurring, probably not the end of the world, but he's either a dud or she's not ready yet. So,
but the real question is do the size of the spurs matter?
I mean, if you're trying to
I see what you did there.
Yeah. I mean, it's how you use them, I think.
Right.
It's how you use the spurs.
I feel bad for the females. It looks uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it does.
They're always really flinching. They don't like it.
Yeah. Well, and then the tail wag pissing scenario in the beginning. Yeah. That's always fun.
Yeah, a lot of people remove if they see their female piss and tail wagging. I wait until I see them push their cloaca out and like smear it all over the place. That's when I'll pull it. A lot of people I think pull out too prematurely. That's what she said. Well, but
I don't know. This might be a little controversial. I don't really know. I've been kind of out of like the forums and group loop and stuff for a while now, but like people are like, oh, not like they post on the groups or whatever, and someone's like, oh, tail wagging, that not ready to breed, take him out, whatever. I'm like, well, yeah, not ready to breed now, but the fact that she's doing that means you're on the right track. And I feel like that like weird lack of like context to that has discouraged or probably eliminated some people's breedings because they're like, oh, well, they're tail wagging and everyone's saying that they're not ready, so I'm just giving up on the year. I'm imagining that's happened so many times where it's like, no, like they're not ready now, but keep at it. They're gonna go because my females never tail wagged until they were ready to start breeding.
Right.
So.
Yeah, especially if they're younger females too.
Yeah.
Yeah, younger females are always going to be turned off during first introductions. You know, they're a little more pissy, but after they have a few seasons under their belt, then my wild caught female Kalatoa, she'll just lay there, and then she's laying there like ready. She's building follicles, and again, my male's just all over the place, arching, not even on her, and I'm like, buddy, she's over here.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. It's wild. That's where I'm like, oh man, my cage is almost too big because it's just he's chasing her around everywhere. Lock him in a room. But yeah. What do you guys think, Levi? Size matter for you? No, you don't care.
I don't. It's whatever, man.
Give Levi a 20-foot retake. He's happy.
Dude, I handle apotheosis pretty often, man, and it makes me like, damn, if I added 6 more feet, I don't think it would be the end of the world. But what gets me, okay, so I got a couple of things on the size thing that I want to bring up. The food bill, yes, I agree with that. It's fucking insane for these mainlands. That is something to be considered. Does size matter? Yes. If you're not interested in a large food bill, super dwarfs, more cheap.
I think in context to being a breeder, especially, that's more of a factor.
Yeah. I mean, even as like if you're getting into retics for the first time or you're getting into bigger species in general, I can't think of a colubrid that's cost me, even in like a breeding situation, anywhere near what a dwarf or mainland would.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
And the other thing is, okay, so does size matter market-wise? Is the super dwarf, when it hit the market, whether it was openly talked about or not, was the super dwarf market chasing the ball python market? Is that why these sizes and like guarantees and things became a huge problem? Because they were trying to compete with the market with the snake that is like the most manageable size hefty snake in the world. Let's be honest. The ball python is the perfect girth, perfect size, perfect temperament, food, it all the way around, not flighty for the most part, right? Or was it trying to chase that perfection?
Yeah, I think it was I think they were trying to tailor the market to people keeping those animals, right? I don't know if they were trying to compete or chase with them, but they were trying to make retics appealing to that audience.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, appealing, tailored. Yeah,
it was like they were going to high school and the retics were college. Like we were trying to get them to go.
We're trying to graduate. Education. Yeah, they're like, hey, come on over. Like the water's okay. It's not terrible, and it's not, right. But I will say, just a retic is a little bit more of a handful than a ball python. But yeah, no, I think that like the market, right. I think the market definitely would insinuate that size matters on both ends of the spectrum, right? You have people that are only going to have a retic if it stays under 10 feet. And then you have people out there like Weston and, and other people that, only want monsters, right? They only want the giants. So, when we're talking about a snake that has such a wide range of size differential, size has to matter, right? It matters to the individual. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And somewhere in between is probably the actual perfect animal.
Exactly. And like I said, that's why I said my favorite range is about 12 feet. I love a 12-foot retic.
See, I got to agree with you on that because I have both. I have all three, right? I have the super dwarf, the dwarf, and the mainland in my collection. So Copper would be Copper's in my collection currently, so he would be the smallest super dwarf adult I have in the collection. I have Ruby. She's a full-size 50% Kalatoa. Well, she's technically a super dwarf, but she's 13 foot. And then I've got Apotheosis, which is 16, 15, 11, almost fucking 16 feet, and just fat as fuck, right? So I've got all three sizes.
What's a apotheosis? What are you talking about?
Oh, that's the name of my mainland.
Oh, okay,
She's
that's
a
the
golden
name.
child
Okay, I
mom.
thought
Yeah.
you were talking about like a Latin species. I was like, what?
No,
is it?
it is a Latin term though. Good catch on that one.
Yeah.
She's my mainland. So my mainland
Okay.
apotheosis, Ruby, the super dwarf, but fucking not like I guess on the bigger side of the super dwarfs, and then Copper, which is pathetically small. Ruby's would be my like go-to, like if I don't feel like throwing my back out to pull a snake out, right? Because apotheosis is heavy as fuck. And I don't feel like a smaller snake that's going to constantly move around or have to keep an eye on at all given times. God only knows what the fuck he's going to get into. Whereas Ruby, I can look, see where she's at. She's big enough that she's not going to get away easily. And again, I'm not going to throw my back out moving her around.
Right.
Yeah.
Feeding wise, comfortability wise too, I'd rather feed Ruby all day of the week. Apotheosis scares the fuck out of me. Until you feed a fucking giant mainland, like I don't give a fuck how puppy dog tame they are. If they miss, you're fucked.
Especially if they miss and you drop the meal too.
Oh,
yeah, that's the worst.
Shout out to fucking Barcheck and the way that he used to do that shit with his rabbits, bro. Like he would open up the enclosure and like with his hand, bro, feed these fucking rabbits to these big ass mainlands. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fucking Barcheck it up. I'm gonna be a fucking badass. No, I'm not gonna be a badass. I've got this 4 foot,
the biggest, longest tongues.
Fucking scared.
I mean, fucking, he uses a gopher grip, I think, or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, wait, hold on. You need to keep that comment on the screen as long as possible. Jake just said smaller retics are definitely better for the average keeper. I want everyone to take note here. What Jake just said. No, I'm kidding.
I'm sure you remember this, and this probably played in your head 100 times, but like big snake, small market, small snake, big market. And that's really like the mentality was like retics are awesome. You can make them in a small size. Therefore, like it was just like, therefore the market's got to be massive once you can get them out there and if you can do it consistently and that kind of stuff. So it's like, that's what it is. It's the being consistent, trustworthy, that kind of stuff. That's really kind of the hurdle.
Yep. Yeah. And also don't forget, size definitely matters when it comes to housing your animals too. So if you don't have a lot of space or you're in an apartment, probably shouldn't be getting a mainland.
Yeah. Unless you're going to dedicate a whole ass room to it.
Yeah, you could do that. But yeah, at least you're not going to be breeding mainlands in an apartment. That's for sure.
No. Opinion only, right? Nobody's gonna use this podcast against anybody.
Listen,
I'm sure
I've had a lot of people use shit against me. Okay,
I might. What is what you're saying here?
What is Lucas only, without anybody being able to rebuttal this? What is your minimum size requirement for a mainland? If you were going to go out, get a mainland, what is the minimum size of the cage that you would get?
I think a minimum standard needs to be 10 by 3 by 2. Yeah, just genuinely speaking, 10 feet long, 3 feet deep, 2 feet tall. If you can go taller, great, but as long as 2 feet tall is enough to get big shelves in there that they will sit on. It's got to be bigger than 18 inches tall when you're working with a really, really large retic. That's not a lot of clearance, right? They literally, when they buck you, they're going to slam the top of the enclosure because they're big animals. So I do think that 10 feet is what I would like the standard to become. Right now, it seems to be 8 foot. It's finally gotten to 8 foot as like the standard that I see a lot of mainlands keeping. I'd like to see it get to 10 feet as that minimum standard for your larger retics. We're talking about 14 feet plus, 14, 15 feet plus.
Yeah. Okay.
Now here's the thing is one thing that the young me used to do when I was new in this industry is I was pretty judgmental and stupidly publicly outward about, cage sizing and things like that. And I try my best to not judge people based off of cage size anymore because Some people might keep their large snakes in 6-foot enclosures, but they'll take them outside 3 times a week, right?
Yeah.
Now, take them outside 3 times a week for 30 minutes a day, and based off of the number of snakes I have, they're getting more exercise and enrichment than mine are in larger cages.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really, there's so much more than just cage size. It's important though. And I will say that if your retic coiled up is taking up half or more than half of its enclosure size, it's too small.
Preach.
It's too, yeah, it's too small, right? So there's obviously a wrong way to do it that I can be judgmental. But if someone's keeping a mainland in an 8x3 and they take it out, like that's there's nothing wrong with that either. Now I will say I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because I fucking hate 3-foot deep cages. I don't own one. I also don't own a mainland besides a Sulawesi that's not that big yet. But 3-foot deep cages are a pain in the ass. Have you ever had, if you stack up three cages tall and you got to get on a stool and then you have to also reach back 3 feet deep, or you have to get on the floor and basically crawl inside that enclosure. 3 feet
Mine
deep
are 30
sucks.
inches deep. Mine are 30 inches deep, and that's annoying. It's already annoying at 30 inches.
Yeah, no, that's what mine are. 30 inches deep.
Yeah.
That's my standard.
Mine's 6 by 30 by 2 with a shell.
Yeah.
For super.
How do you feel about going upwards with mainlands, right? Like more of like a carpet setup, if you will, at a larger size. Like let's say 8 foot high, 4 foot long, 4 foot deep, or 4 foot wide, 4 foot deep. So like 8 by 4 by 4.
It depends on the animal, in my opinion.
We're talking about now. Money's not an issue, right? And space is not an issue. And so when people ask me what size enclosure, as big as you can afford and as big as you can house in the space that you can when it comes to an adult retic. So yeah, for a mainland enclosure, if you want to give it, 6 foot tall, give it a 6 foot tall. I guarantee you it's going to use the space. Now, here's the thing. You give it a naturalistic setup in a 6 foot tall by 12 feet long and 4 feet deep, and you do that, you might start to see some more natural behaviors when you start to open up that enclosure.
I'll agree with that because I've got mine in the reason I asked is I got mine in an 8 by 4 by 4 with more of an arboreal setup.
Okay, cool.
And this is the first time I've tried it with the mainland, and I've seen better success with this than I have laying them flat. I've got her ladder set up, like I put a literal ladder in there and maxed it out to the ceiling so she can get up and down and twist all around, spin around. I've got logs that branch off of that. She's got all kinds of space. Her warmth is up at the top, and I use a heat pad at the bottom just to be safe, right? Yep. It's taken me a long time to figure out how to get that to fucking work, but I've seen great success with her, with having a more of like her going up. Mm-hmm. Because in my head, I was like, that's cool. Like a shelf is cool in my head, right? And I'm thinking more of like, I'm in the islands of Indo, and I'm like, damn, they go all the way up trees. What if I could get her to go up, back down, and like around and like really stretch out? I've seen great success with it. And I mean, again, I'm fucking with it at this point. I mean, to see how much farther I can push this.
Retics will go up even mainland. So for people that say that mainland are not, snakes that'll climb like in the wild, you see mainlands perched up top very frequently. So yeah, I mean, again, if you can, I tell people this all the time, go the biggest that you can with the space that you have and what you can afford. The only time that doesn't apply is if you don't have a lot of space and you can't afford a larger enclosure, but you're still going to buy one, like then just don't do that. Right? Like don't put yourself in a bad situation. And also don't have the mindset either of like, oh, well, that's going to be in like 3-4 years and I'll just pay for it then, because I guarantee you're probably not going to have the money then either if you don't have it now. Yeah. And then you're going to be like, shit, I need a bigger enclosure. Then you're going to have to save up for 6-8 months. And then, probably takes about 2-3 months. So then your snake's in a tiny enclosure for a year by the time you can get it. So plan ahead with retics. Plan ahead with
everything.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. I just think that there's more to risk if you don't with retics.
I like the idea that I think it's Wickens does it a lot that I see on his videos where like he pre-builds his enclosures and sets them up and like does all the things, and I'm like, damn, for the longest time I wasn't doing that, and then I started doing that, and I'm like, damn, it makes it a lot easier on you. It's not just better for the animal, but it makes it easier for you because then you see where it's going to go. Does it fit? Does it work? And then it's plug and play with the animal and to get them in there, depending, like, obviously your quarantine process has got to be followed. But when you're ready to put them in there, I mean, I guess it can be done side by side with the quarantine process too, right? But fucking with it and like knowing where it's going to go, that helps a lot too for like people that have more than one snake. Yeah. Or even in like your living room, like maybe you don't like it where it's at, it doesn't fit with the entertainment center.
The feng shui.
Yeah. I'm about ready to move my funny that you said pair of Kankakees. I'm about ready to move them in my bedroom because I don't like where they're at.
Yeah, I would not keep colubrids. I would not keep colubrids in my bedroom. They shit too much.
Yeah.
Bill, could you imagine having those indigos in your room?
Oh my God.
Do you use isopod? What is your bedding? What do you use for like substrate on all of your species? Minus
everything. I switch on and off from anything I can get my hands on. I use paper. I use Repti-Chip. I got Repti-Chip here in my backyard. I can drive there and get I don't have to buy a pallet to save money because I don't have to pay for shipping. So Repti-Chip, even aspen bedding. I love aspen bedding. For my bull snakes right now, I got them on that paper fucking bunny bedding. They love burrowing in that shit. They love it. I have a few natural. I wouldn't call them bioactives. I have a few naturalistic that I do have some isopods in there and everything. And they've been, every once in a while I'll think they're all dead, and then I'll lift up the water bowl and then I'll find another like dozen in there. So I don't even do anything. I haven't added more springtails. They somehow are still fucking alive. These things are crazy. So I have a few enclosures or a few, the very large ARS rack systems, the ones that are like 5 foot long tubs.
Yeah.
So the boa racks was what they used to call them.
Exactly. Those are, I have 2 of them that are set up, quote unquote, bioactive, that have isopods and things in there.
Okay, cool. I was going to say semi-bio. This is what I do.
I don't have plants in there and shit. I just got wood pieces and I spray the soil and, again, some days I think that all the isopods are dead, and the other, next week I'll see a batch of them.
Yeah, no, same. I do that with I have some in the mainland's enclosure, and they're doing okay.
Right.
But everything minus the mainland has a semi-bioactive setup at this point.
Yeah.
And I swear it helps, man.
I like it. My favorite bedding to use is non-dusty, like a non-dusty brand of a cocoa chip. I wish we could get our hands on Sandy Chip, but Todd does, but because he buys them like by the fucking, Todd buys like 15 pallets at once. That's why he can afford it. Because for me, if I just want like a bag, it ends up costing me way. It's not cost efficient unless you get a lot. But yeah,
Sandy Chip.
They're like this tiny micro wood chip. Todd, what kind of wood is it? Is it aspen? I think it is. I think it's just it's a small cut aspen, but yeah, the colubrids love it. They burrow. Yeah, 2 pallets. Sorry, not 1,000.
That's still a fucking lot though, man.
It's a lot. Yeah. If you guys don't know, Todd has a beautiful building that he just finished up like a year ago. Yeah, it's primarily aspen. So, but I love aspen bedding. A lot of people complain about it molding a lot, but if you are not lazy and you're spot cleaning your animals on time, and if it gets wet and you're picking up the wet stuff, it does great. So, super absorbent too. And honestly, in my garage, when I was using aspen, I loved walking in there, and it felt like I was walking into the woods. It would smell like the forest. It was beautiful.
Use it ever with retics?
Yeah, I use it with my retics.
I used to keep my babies on aspen.
Yeah, I think it's way safer than Repti-Chip or similar for babies. I actually went over to paper for babies because I ended up having like several babies get impacted with Repti-Chip, and fortunately I haven't had one die. They all passed it naturally, but it is the most stressful thing to pick up that snake, and it's slithering over your hand, and you feel this lump over your finger, and you look at it, and it's got a freaking it's stressful as shit.
Oh yeah. That's my thing with like ball pythons and stuff, like having the retics, they never refuse a meal. I had a ball python, he didn't eat for like 2 months, and it's just like that stress. Like people don't realize like that's pretty stressful when your animal's not eating and it should, and then let alone if you want it to breed and you're trying to get it up to size and it's not eating, no matter what you do, that sucks.
Yeah, and I love paper. Paper is like the ease and the convenience of it. The one thing that I don't like about paper is I have a really well insulated garage where I keep everything in. And so when I have a lot of my larger retics on paper, I'll walk into the garage, and when something shits, it smacks you in the face. So that's the one downside about paper is when they piss and they shit, you smell it, and then you're in there. And again, I keep ambient, so I'm in there. It's 83 degrees, 70% humidity. I'm sweating balls. It smells like retic piss and shit. It's not fun.
Yeah, that's what I did. I do like the cocoa fiber and the repti bark mix. Like I do like a
cool
60-40 mix, more cocoa fiber, but just a little bit of repti chip to kind of give it some like volume and some grip and stuff. I use that, and I use that specifically because of the smell. I thought that would kind of like, because you're right, the paper. If you use only paper, then you are going to smell every smell of those snakes. And if you have a lot of snakes, it's all the fucking time because they're not on the same schedule. So I did that, and it did make the room smell better, like more like the cocoa and like the wood, but more like just wood,
Right.
My wife hates it. So she's like, every time I open it up, she goes, the room smells. I'm like what? Because like when I go in there, it just smells like cocoa. And she goes, yeah, it smells like that. And I hate that. I'm like, all right.
I used to, in my old house, I used to have, when I had a smaller collection, I used to, there's a part of the kitchen that was extended, and I had them in the kitchen. Man, my wife hated me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We had the back half of the living room. And when they would go, it's like, dude, fuck.
Yeah. The best part is like
that shit.
The best part is when you walk in there, like in the morning, I would walk into the kitchen and get water or make breakfast and everything. And you just hear one of them taking a shit and just ripping ass. Only see, it's funny, people at work, people that don't know snakes, they're like, wait, what? Snakes fart?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Oh,
that's another does size matter.
Right.
Yeah. The bigger the snake, the bigger the shit, man. I'm telling you, I had a neighbor looking at a bag that was thrown out, and he's like, damn, do you have a horse back there? Nope. I got a fucking mainland, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
pretty
what
rough.
they eat fucking pigs, man. They eat ginormous rabbits and big animals. Like they're gonna process it and shit it out.
Yep.
That's a hell of a thing to clean up, man.
That's after pictures of my children, probably the next most common picture I have on my phone is retic shit. Seriously, I take pictures of my hands next to some of the shits that are taking. It's freaking insane.
Yeah, see, I only work with Superdor, so I've never had anything like super impressive. I've had a couple where it's like, oh, that's a Great Dane size shit. That's a human shit inside this cage right here. But that's about as big, like nothing like crazy like you guys talking about, like fucking 10 pounds.
Dude, I've
my
had
snake would not exist.
I'm not even joking. I've had snake shit as like white as
oh my god.
I think apotheosis pushed out. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was like, dude, is that its skull? Like, what the fuck is? Oh man. The smell too. Like, keep in mind, the bigger the shit, the more it's. I know when she shits.
Yeah, I think I fed. Try to cycle my Slayer. I fed her back to back, not back to back in one feeding, but it was like within a 10-day period, like 10 plus pound rabbits. And she decided to shit them both out at the same time. I looked at that and my jaw dropped. I was like, damn.
I can't imagine what that smelled like.
Do you see what Jake said?
Oh my god. Jesus.
Jake said.
Yeah, that's my reaction to what Jake just said.
Oh, that's good shit.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oh.
But no, it's true, man. These snakes are impressive.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of reason. Like, that's just insane.
So yeah, that matters too. If you want to spend more time cleaning piss, shit, and everything, the larger the retic, the more that happens, and it's a lot of work because once that snake hits about 14, 15 feet, when they pee, it's it's not just like a little urate anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I feel, there you go. That's something that's slept on too. That's not really discussed. Is like the amount of piss that comes out of these things, man.
no, it's a lot.
And they don't use their water bowl like the smaller ones. I think for the most part, most of my smaller retics like will piss and shit in the water bowl, so it's pretty easy to get on top of that because you do daily water changes. The mainland, she's got a corner, man. I don't know if it's intentional, but she's got a fucking corner.
Yeah,
mine, once I gave them big enough water like bowls or whatever, like big enough water stations to get in, then they all started to shit in their water.
Yep. Yeah, I actually don't like, so it makes it easier to clean, but I actually don't like when they do, because again, once they piss or shit in their water, it smells way worse. And then you have to, then you're cleaning up poop stew, and that's what do you do? Where do you dump it? Right? Like, how do you? It's in my garage, so I would
use the aquarium like cleaner sucker things.
Yeah,
I would use those, like gravity pump it and pump most of that shit water out into a bucket, and then go dump that to basically drain it down enough for me to be able to grab. Because I would use like the concrete mixing tubs, like the big ones.
Yeah,
because it fits perfectly in a 30-inch. Like you can slide it in and it takes up a whole good portion. It gives them a big water thing, and they can still kind of get around it. So I would use that. Yeah, drain it down until it's a bit manageable enough for me to pick it up, and it's all heavy, full of that shit. It's rough. It's hard. And the hardest one to clean is the one on the bottom.
Jeez.
I
honestly can't even remember how I cleaned the one on the bottom. It was probably a nightmare, I would only imagine.
I dump them into like the plants out front. Like I'll just open the garage door and walk the whole bowl out there and dump them into the plants.
Natural fertilization.
That's what I figured, right? It's going to be like natural fertilizer, and so far it hasn't done anything. We've been here for a while, so and the last house it worked too.
I don't recommend doing that with your vegetables, though.
We don't grow vegetables, bro. This is fucking Arizona.
You guys grow cactus.
I may or may have not learned that from firsthand experience these past couple months. I'm afraid to say too much because I'm afraid my wife's watching and she'll hear what happened. But like, yeah,
she's cutting the carrots and she's like,
dude, you're not too far off. You're not too far off. I was growing potatoes.
There you go.
And so it was time to harvest them or whatever, and I had a whole bunch of them, and I even washed them off a little bit, but I left them on the counter to kind of like dry after I rinsed them. And dude, our house was like stinking bad.
And those grow underground too, so they're absorbing all of it.
Dude, it was I'm like, we're trying to figure out what it is. I'm like, the sink. I'm like, what the f- is smelling so bad? And then I don't know what it was, but I like moved my head past it. I'm like, no way. And I like grabbed the potatoes and I put them right up to my face, and they smelled exactly like watery snake shit. Like it was bad. I'm like, oh my God, it was these. And it was from that because I had poured a couple of like the monitors, or it was like reptile shit. I put the monitors like dirty water in there. I'm like, oh, nutrients for them before they. Nah, dude, don't do that. It's bad. It's bad.
That's good.
We're gonna need 15-minute check-ins once this podcast ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. It's
she
gonna be rough.
sees this, she's gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, dude. And they were on the counter for at least like a day and a half. Like it was there for a minute, and we couldn't figure out what the smell was. I took the garbage out like 16 times. Like I took the garbage out when it wasn't even full of anything. Like someone must have just thrown something away. I don't know what this smell is.
It was your reptile shit potatoes.
Dude, guess what? As soon as the potatoes left the house, the smell left. So
I was gonna say, you didn't eat these, did you?
fuck no.
Okay.
As soon as I figured that out, I was like, these are out of here. I threw away the bowl they were sitting in.
He said, yeet.
Get these the fuck out of here. Because even as soon as she hears this, that bowl is never going to be used again anyways. So that is out of the house.
Right.
So anybody that watches this podcast, don't dump your snake's water in the vegetables.
I don't recommend it. Like a fruit tree might be a little bit different, but like a root vegetable, not recommended.
Right.
10 out of 10, don't recommend.
Oh man. Tell me, like, there's no, the stories that reptile keepers have is it's unmatched.
Yeah.
Oh man, this reminds me of the good old fucking rat in the microwave story.
Oh,
Speaking
stop.
of our throwback times there, Lucas.
I could not, man. I could not.
Oh,
Whoever thought that was a good idea.
God, that's rough. Yeah, that's
my old co-host.
that's a super genius. We're dealing with a
It's
super
on
genius there.
It's on video, so it's not like I'm fucking shitting on him or anything. But I love Chris to death. But
Oh my God.
when he first went to defrost a fucking rat, he put it in the microwave and quickly learned that rats go boom.
I hope
Oh my God.
I hope he
Disgusting.
I hope he at least hit the defrost option.
I don't.
No,
think
you
he
know
did,
that thing
bro.
was
I
on
think
full power. You know
I
that
think
thing
he
was on
hit that when he
100%.
threw that bitch in. Hit the
He's
button.
like 30 seconds. It's frozen. 30 seconds is definitely not too long.
1100 watts straight to
I
the
think
dome.
he threw the whole microwave away right after that.
Yeah, there's
He'd
no
have
shot.
to.
Solid move.
Yeah, there's no
Solid
shot.
move.
I'm not cleaning that.
No, not a chance. Not
Shit
a
was like a
chance.
damn crop, bro. I love Chris to death, but I know he's not the only one though.
No,
Like,
there's
let's be
definitely-
real.
No,
You know
he's
damn well
definitely-
he's not the only. He's not alone in this.
no,
I
no,
can
no.
do it,
Well,
but
it's called frozen thawed, not frozen de-thawed.
Right.
You know?
I mean to be fair, like if you're in a rush, and you got
Defrosted.
frozen hamburger meat, you defrost it in the microwave.
Yeah.
Or is that just some white people shit?
No,
That's
no,
white-
I mean,
that's white people shit.
People do that, but I mean,
Okay.
at the same time, like I just respectfully, the food that I eat, I put in the microwave, right? So I don't know if I'm gonna put a rodent in my microwave, right? Like,
I didn't even think about that.
I don't think that's the good
That's some
move
solid.
either,
That's some solid logic. You know,
Like,
I'm following the A to B on that one.
right? So even if I needed like a rushed idea, I'm not sure the microwave would like maybe the oven,
Oh my-
but not the microwave.
I've seen it, bro. I've
Boy,
seen
2
I've
minutes.
seen videos
Good.
of people talking about how they defrost the rats and they put them on cookie sheets and defrost them in the oven. I'm like,
Stop.
bro, like, hold on.
Can't do that.
I don't know who cooks Thanksgiving dinner, bro, but hopefully you ain't bringing none and hopefully you ain't hosting none. Here's the one that gets me though. The ones that have like coffee mugs that like defrost them in water. And it's like, bro, I really hope I don't see that it's labeled for defrosting rats.
Just get a Lowe's or a Home Depot bucket. They're $8.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's cheaper than your mug.
I got specific 6-quart tubs specifically for thawing out rodents.
Right.
Like,
Same ones every time.
I'll set them down somewhere in like the garage if I need to, like real quick, if I have like a struggling situation. But like, I can't say I've ever used dishware and I can't say I've ever used the oven. Like it just, I don't know. Do you guys have you guys ever bred your own rodents?
Yeah.
No, that is something that I'll never do. It's too dirty. It's too
I
much
bred-
to keep up with.
I bred ASFs.
So I think breeding them really gives me like an insight of like why I would never put one in a coffee mug.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're too dirty. I
Yeah,
can't. And on top of that, like again, I have limited space, so I'm not. Rodents aren't taking up my space.
Yeah, no, when I was doing it, I had ball pythons. I was going to breed like a certain thing with ball pythons, and they were eating those really good, and they're kind of like perfect size for those. And I was like, oh, they're probably perfect size for super dwarf retics. Fucking no, they're not.
No, they're not.
Not only are they not a perfect size for those, they're a fucking pain in the ass to breed.
They're evil little fuckers too, man.
Dude, after like the second or third like round of pregnancies, they'll start just killing their young for
Jesus.
no reason. For no reason,
What
they'll
species?
just the
African
African
soppers.
soppers.
Oh, jeez.
Like my breeder rats, I can pick them up and hold them and like pet them. When I had ASFs, I couldn't do any of that. Like I couldn't get near anything without fucking
Mice,
getting nipped at or bit.
mice are savages.
Dude, mice are fucking
Mice.
cocksuckers.
Fuck mice, yeah, I don't like mice.
We
Mice
had
are
ASFs.
savages.
We had them get out in the store, and they were everywhere. They were in the walls. They were in the
Yeah.
Oh my God! Remember that, Lee?
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
I was there for that. I remember that.
Dude, that
Oh.
happened in my house. They would get out, and I swear to God, I had like a ping pong, not ping pong, but like a weird like kid like pool table, one of the small ones, like for air hockey. It was like a multi one or whatever. We were cleaning it out one time. They had one like a pair had made a nest and were having babies in one of like the cubicles. I'm like, I didn't even know you guys were out. Like, what the fuck? And there's babies over here.
Luke is like, yeah, I was thinking about me. No, hell no, never.
No, dude. Buy them frozen. Fuck that noise.
Nope, I'm not. Like I said, and again, for me, the most important thing right now in my life is time.
Yep.
So,
the quail are cool. I like breeding quail. The rats I've considered just like Xing them off, like I'm good, like I'll just feed off what I got. But the quail are badass. Like you can set those up in your.
Yeah, just I'll support the local small businesses. I'll stick to breeding my snakes.
Yeah.
I feel like breeding snakes is enough, man. When you guys start getting into retic clutches and you have like 3 or 4 in one season, and you're stacking up and you have your large collection, and then you have like you produce close to 100 babies or 100 babies plus in a year. It's a lot of damn work, man. The most expensive thing to feed is that 2023 to 2024 year, and that food bill being high was feeding babies every 5-7 days, and the price of rodents, even small ones, and then you have to go through feeding trials. Sometimes they drop, and you waste a lot of food. It's yeah.
See, that's what I'm excited for the quail though, because they drop eggs every day, and they have a short incubation period.
Damn.
So that should help us significantly on that bill.
Yeah, for sure.
If it works out. I mean, we'll see.
I'm a big fan of feeding poultry to retic. I like how lean they are.
Yeah.
I think for captive kept animals, like the leaner we can get, the better.
Yeah, me too.
That's coming from Zach.
Especially with retics that have strong food responses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Again, especially with like captivity, right? Because their metabolism may be high as like a naturally high metabolism animal, but it's nowhere like it is in the wild.
Right.
Because they're not being forced to move. They're not, they're not running from predators. They're not being forced to move due to environmental changes or, whatever the case may be. They're in one spot. I mean, we give them as much enrichment as possible, but we'll never mimic the wild.
Right.
Stress levels are lower, so that's going to lower metabolism.
Right. Lee, what you got there?
This one is a platinum motley het snow.
Okay. Cool.
So like whenever I come out and do when I do the podcast, I come in and I'll just open up a bunch of cages and let them come out. And she decided now was the time she wanted to come out, and she crawled right down off my light right here. So I thought I'd give her a little hold. She's one of those ones where you don't put your hand in her cage, but when she comes out, she's a completely different creature.
Yeah.
You got that, and then I got a girl behind me, and then I have another one that I was holding that's my secret project girl, but I don't know where she went. She left me.
Yeah, I'd bring
one out, but
garage lights have been off for a while, so everything is probably roosting and in hunt mode right now.
Yeah.
That's the fun part. You ever walk into a dark room with green tree pythons and you'll hear some slaps on the cages. Bam, bam, bam.
Really? Yeah.
Chondra food responses at night. Like you don't want to enter a chondra's enclosure when it's lights out.
Do you tend to feed them at night? Do you find yourself kind of leaning towards that or no?
Nah, they'll eat whatever. They're great eaters.
Yeah.
Some babies starting them off could be a pain, but once they're established, they're savages. I think their food responses are just as intense as retics.
Have you produced some clutches with those?
No, I'm going to be pairing up my Aruzo here shortly.
I heard the difficult part with those is mainly the incubation. Is that what you've heard, or?
Yeah, so unlike retics, where your retic eggs can get wet with the water droplets or whatever, and it's not going to impact your retic eggs at all. You get one tiny little droplet of water on a chondro egg, and it's dead.
Yeah.
and you need to, it needs to be 99% humidity in that tub. So
that's what I remember. Like these guys were using those special like incubation tubs, and it's all water on the bottom with like the thing on top, and they have to figure out like paper towels over the top, and like it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's wild. And that's going to be a fun challenge. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also patient. I've been a little lazy with the chondros. I could have been pairing them this whole time, but I'm going to probably dial in here over the next few weeks and start ramping up some food and give them a go.
Okay. Well, good luck with that, man.
Yeah, it'll be.
Yeah,
keeping them's easy. Breeding them is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it can be. So I think
the whole cycle of it, right? From pair to hatch.
Yeah, to hatch. Yeah. Well, I mean, so if you ask a seasoned breeder of chondros, the hardest part, they're not going to say hatching. They're going to say establishing and feeding. So that's the other thing is establishing babies. You're sitting there for hours on end with just a single clutch trying to get them all to take their first meals. Yeah.
A lot of guys, that's where I learned the braining technique. Was like I was watching a guy that was dealing with chondro babies, and he would do the braining thing, and I did that on a couple of my like hard to feed or like slow to get to eating babies, and it worked like a charm.
Yeah. Todd, that's a great question. I would assume they go to the ground. They go to the ground at night to hunt. So a lot of people think that they stay up in the trees all day, but at night you can actually see them way closer to the ground on lower branches. Oftentimes they're just right at the bottom of a tree stump and waiting for something on the floor to walk by and snag them. A lot of people have the impression that chondros eat birds and everything because they're up in the tree. Most of the studies done of them in the wild, their stomach content actually shows that they eat rodents a lot. So, yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how that happens?
Yeah. And geckos, lizards, things like that.
So wait a minute. You're telling me like there's an established thing of knowledge, right? Like, hey, this is what they do. They eat birds. And then they go and do a study, right? Like a scientific method. They go and like kind of like test their hypothesis. And then they found out, shit, it's actually something else. And now it's new knowledge. And it's like, now it's like new facts.
Right. It changes, right? That's what knowledge is. Todd, I'll put the egg box on the floor right below the hot spot. I don't have a hot spot for them, but I am planning to. That's the one thing. Breeding chondros in ambient is going to be a little bit different than retics. I might add a ceramic heat emitter covered in a cage and keep it on for only 4 hours a day to just provide a little bit of supplemental heat. But yeah, so I'll keep it on the floor.
Nice. Yeah, I made a cool little lay box thing for when I do ambient, or even when I don't do ambient. I put a little heat mat under. I take one of those, what is it, like Pangea hides or whatever, Bill?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I take one of those, like an XL or something like that. I flip it upside down. I'll put the heat like basically on the top of it, but I'll flip it upside down, put some sphagnum moss in there, and they kind of have that little channel to go in, but it's enough of a rim that you put a little water if you needed to keep the humidity up.
Yeah.
Use that as a lay box, dude. It was money every time.
Yeah, I've only had I've used a lay box for basically every female I've put it in, and I think I've only had 2 females that took to them. My female Kayuwadi and my female Mindanao. They were the only 2 that took to them. Everyone else was just like they explored it. They went in, they went out, but they all like to lay on their shelves, which is a curse because trying to get a snake in a clutch off of a shelf that has a lip, it's not fun.
Yeah, I think that's why I probably added the heat mat to it. So I made that the heat source. So that's where they wanted to go and like grow their follicles. So they kind of got used to it right there. But yeah, I had one female where I was just using the radiant heat panel and she did lay on the shelf, and it was the one that was an asshole. So I was really worried about that one. And that's actually was weird as shit. She was actually super calm and super easy. I was able to grab her, all the clutch of eggs, like pick them up and put them in a tub.
Yep.
So then I could take her off without her biting me.
Yeah, I was gonna say my most cantankerous females, right? Like my wild Kakao, the Slayer, pulling clutches has like I'm lucky. I'm a knock on wood here, but I've never had a female strike at me once pulling any of the clutches that I've produced.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember where.
Very lucky.
where I heard this from, or if I read it, one of the two, that they go into a trance for a couple of days, up to 3 days, I think it is, after they lay, and they're calmer than they typically are, and you can get them off without a struggle.
It's definitely not that long. Basically, what like that's referring to is, after they lay, they basically will lay around their eggs without coiling them up like a beehive. For, it could be 3 hours. Sometimes it could be 8 hours. But the moment that those females are coiled up like a beehive around them, they're out of that trance. They're alert. They're ready to rock and roll if they're going to.
Yeah, okay. The trance is more like during the lay.
It's during and then shortly after when they're exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Jake, if Jake's still in here, I asked Jake like a while back when I was producing my first clutch. I was like, hey, how do you pull your eggs, and what do you do? And Jake said, oh, when I see them laying, I just grab them one by one. So he literally will sit there, and as they're laying, he'll grab them, put them in the lay box, and he'll sit there and do that.
Wow.
I mean, that's like the most ideal. If you can, that would be most ideal.
Yeah, it's pretty. That was the first time and the only time that I've heard of someone doing that. And I was like, that's actually pretty damn smart.
Never heard that. That's awesome.
Although I've had snakes that have taken 6 hours to lay a clutch. So I don't know if I'm sitting there for 6 hours.
Yeah, no, mine always took hours, and it was always in the middle of the night. Like one year I would go to my parents' house for Christmas, and I had a camera on my female when she was getting ready to lay. And we only lived a half mile away from my parents. And sure enough, on Christmas morning, I woke up, I checked the camera, and she's coiled up around eggs. I'm like, sweet. All right, I got to run real quick, guys. I got to go pull some eggs. Great Christmas gift that year, but damn.
I've had a Christmas clutch before.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, but never got to see her start laying a clutch or any of that. She was always very middle of the night, and I would imagine was a process.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had a Christmas clutch on the year that we had that Snowmageddon here in Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What a time.
Yeah, it wasn't fun because the February after is when freaking we lost power and shit forever. Good thing for generators.
Yeah, I was worried about that this past freeze that we had that just happened. I was a little worried about it. But I had a backup plan, space heaters. I was literally ready to tub everything up and huddle them up with us because I was not going to try to go through what that horror story you guys dealt with that year.
It wasn't fun. I was lucky enough to buy a generator that morning. I was on my way to Lowe's to get the last generator that they had in stock. And on my way there's cars that are crashed into bridges, and no one was around the cars. Like it felt like a scene of The Walking Dead. Like it was just like empty. You see abandoned cars on the side of the road. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was only for about 6 hours that I didn't have heat for my snakes. But I got the generator and I plugged in all of my heat sources and space heater and managed to keep all my snakes alive. But the house got down to 44 degrees for about 12 hours.
Damn.
It's rough, dude. That's rough. I mean, I there's a guy that's still trying to recover from that.
Yeah. And my first daughter was only a month old during that time. It was stressful as hell.
Wow.
Yeah, that's got to be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. Texas energy grid sucks.
Arizona's ain't much better.
Yeah.
We've had some pretty shitty power outages.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I didn't deal with power outages too much, but the price of electricity was wild in Phoenix.
Oh, it still is.
I can imagine.
Always got to have a game plan with the store on what you would do if the power goes out in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you got to have that thought through, because when it happens, you can't be thinking, "Oh, what am I going to do?"
Yeah,
I'll bring in temporary air conditioning units.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you had got the summer issue.
Yeah.
And see, I feel like it's easier to deal with a cold front than it is a heat front because you have resources to warm you up, like fire-wise and like natural resources. There's no way to really cool a room down if the power's out and you can't get a generator.
Lose the whole store.
Yeah.
Would.
Yeah, I used to go to a reptile shop in Phoenix, and one of the times I went there, its power was out, and it was hot as fuck.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say the power was out, but the AC was out, which is just the fucking same.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Bill, if the power goes out and you don't have a generator, that becomes dangerous quickly. You know what I mean? If you don't have power in general in the summertime. If it's cold, I mean, you can start a fire, you can figure out ways to warm things up, but it's in the summers out here, they're fucking it can get dangerous quickly.
I'm a really nice, easygoing person to get along with. When I'm hot,
Yeah.
don't fucking talk to me. Like,
Yeah.
like during summers here in Texas, I don't like to go out. Like I people don't like to go out up north when it's cold. They stay inside. I'm the same way here in the summer. I don't want to go out because if you take my parking spot, I'm gonna kill you.
How hot does it get out there?
110 sometimes. It's hot.
Levi, it's not. It's not like Arizona.
It's not dry heat like Arizona. Definitely not.
No. My job was outside, so I worked outside for 15 years in Arizona, and it was a swimming pool industry, and so I was outside and building pools in the summer. So coming here, like the summers here are our spring.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that I think that's a fair statement. Arizona can be pretty miserable,
dude. It's relentless. We had 1 year was 100 days over 115.
Mm-hmm.
No.
That summer almost broke me. That was the one that almost like I was fucking.
That was the one.
I wasn't directly outside, but I was in fucking a body shop with swamp coolers, and we were.
No, that was the one for me. It was just like every day I was outside. It was fucking so hot, so miserable. And I've had hotter days, but it was the fact that it was every day. It felt like it was the whole year. It was every day for 100 days was that hot. And it just sucked. It was miserable.
And see, what people don't take into account, like, does it cool down in Texas at night? Like, does it drop enough that it's...
The fucking, in the shade, you can get cool. It's not a blow dryer.
See, what people don't account for, and Lee, you know this, and Bill, you know this, at night, it's still...
105, yeah.
It doesn't cool down. You're from 105
our nights
to 115.
Are your guys' hottest day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, that's where it gets just like it'll be 4:00 in the morning and 103 outside.
So that's
there's
the
no
issue.
escape.
So in Florida, I spent most of my life living in Florida, and in Florida,
that's different.
It doesn't cool much at night. It's still gonna be 91 degrees at night, but it's like 90% humidity. And
the air is
it's disgusting at night in Florida.
That air is thick with 2 C's.
Yeah.
Miss me with that shit.
And he's not playing. It's way different. Like here, 30 to 40%, honestly, like 30 to 40% humidity is probably about perfect because it's enough moisture in the air when you do get into the shade, you can cool down and stuff. Like it's pretty much, it's right in that sweet spot, at least for me. You get there where it's 90, 100% humidity, like Orlando and shit when we went to like Universal Studios and all that other shit. Dude, the air, you're cutting through the air. You're literally feeling tension. Your friction is going as you're walking. It's so thick and miserable.
Your shirt stuck to you.
Yeah. Instantly. You feel like you just got out of the shower all the time.
Right.
My parents live down there in Fort Myers, but they get out of there in the summer.
Yeah, that's the move. I lived a little north of Fort Myers. I lived in Sarasota.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right there.
Yeah, my brother's in Tampa.
Oh, okay.
His wedding, we were just there for his wedding. I think it was in, I don't know, was it like St. Petersburg or something like that? That's right around there. Yeah, that's where his wedding was.
Yeah, pretty area.
Yeah. Definitely prettier than Miami.
Yeah. Miami.
Hot take. Miami's a shithole.
I'm not. I lived in Miami for 6 years. Not a fan.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool if you want to go on vacation for a weekend and have fun and go out, but I definitely would not uproot.
I think it's probably cool if you're college age or young adult and you're trying to get out there and do the crazy stuff. But like honestly, as like a family, like that place is shitty. It sucks. It's dirty. It looks ghetto. Like nothing looks new. It's fuck that place. We stopped there to go on a cruise for a Disney cruise. I was like, fuck this. Sorry.
Oh, man. No, you're
sorry
good.
to all our Miami fans and people, but that place sucks.
Well, it sounds
It's a vibe.
And on that closing note, size doesn't matter or does matter. Depends on who you are.
I think the consensus was it does, right?
It does matter.
It definitely matters.
Size definitely
100%.
matters.
Yeah.
Now, can this go both ways like Levi? Sure. Absolutely. Like size-wise, like I want it to be bigger. So, like it doesn't always have to be on the smaller side, right, Levi?
Right. And I mean, that that comes down to like it's a multifaceted question, right? Where you've got so many different it's an algorithm, right? Because size of snake doesn't matter to me, but size of collection does, right?
Yeah.
Like I've got one mainland, fuck dude, I probably won't have another. It doesn't matter that I have a mainland, right?
Right.
I don't want another at this point because this one's fucking killing me. I've learned my lesson, like cool. Having one this size long term, I'm good. And then, from there, size of enclosures, right?
Yeah.
That matters. Because again, space wise, I'm looking around the room and
I'll come on again and we'll talk about girth.
I love talking about
this shit.
Oh, I love girth. Like a tuna can.
Right.
Girth, yeah.
Like a tuna can.
How did we go 2 hours and we didn't even talk about like
girth?
What I argue to be the most.
We kind of did. We talked about the girth of their shit.
Yeah, their weight. We talked a little bit about weight, but yeah, girth plays a role. Super doors, a little bit lean, mainlands, heavy bodied, just big ass snake in general.
Yeah, big bitch.
Like I'm telling you, I'm holding Apotheosis and I'm holding Ruby at the same time, and you can just see both are full size.
Dude, that picture is wild because they're like the same snake, but one's definitely a miniature version of the other one.
Yeah, it's like, and the girth is the biggest difference between them. I mean, really, Apotheosis is only 3 feet longer, but that girth weight difference is. I can hold one with one hand, the other one I feel like I'm in a WWE match constantly with. Who's going to body slam who?
It's true. It's true. There's nothing more exhausting than trying to get a big retic in its holding tub when it's getting away and trying to get away from you. You're doing this one, man, the whole time.
Oh.
Like it's just.
I was watching this guy. He was doing a cleaning of his snake cage or making a new snake cage. It was like that big one that I sent you, Levi, when we started this or whatever. He had built one of those and it was massive, and he pulled it. I was starting to get anxiety because it was like a 16-foot retic and he's trying to put it in like the 25-gallon totes or whatever. I'm like, dude, that has got to be you are probably battling with that thing for like 45 minutes to try to get that thing in there.
There's times where our Solaire will end up getting away from us and is in the garage and we have to pull her behind things because she does not want to get in.
Yeah.
And again, she's not even being mean. She's just being difficult. She doesn't want to go in the tub. And I'm just, trying to drag her and get her in. I'm telling you, these snakes are, if you think that you are strong, I promise you're not.
Well, and they can grab the weirdest things with the smallest portions of their body. And it's like, they're grabbing it with a hand. It's insane. I'm like, what are you on right now? Like, how are you actually attached and like fighting?
I didn't have one of the casters to a 6-foot stack of cages tall. I didn't have one of the casters locked, and they just got around it. And it was one caster that wasn't locked. The rest were locked in place. Still was able to shift that entire 6-foot stack. Yeah,
that's not that. Yeah,
no, it's crazy strength. I call it Lenny strength.
And And here's the thing. Jake's
Oh, we
got a
called it
monster.
something else when I was growing up.
I called it Lenny strength because of I don't know if you heard of the book of Mice and Men. But yeah.
And what's crazy, what's absolutely fucking crazy is Jake has one. Jake has what you can consider an actual monster, right?
Yeah, 19.
Mine's not a monster. She's just big. And then you look at Weston's collection. That dude, you can tell how strong the fucking snakes are because that motherfucker's ripped. That's a big fucking human, dude. Like Weston's big.
And some of his snakes were wildly big.
Yeah, no, he probably has, at least at one point, he had probably the longest, I guess, I don't know how I'm trying to word that. It's late here.
Yeah.
He probably had, like, as far as like length of snakes, some of the largest collection in the U.S.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. He probably still does, huh?
Yeah, I don't know how many of his snakes he still has. I think he moved a good amount of them out.
Yeah, just anything over 20 fucking feet, man. That's.
I mean, if I'm being honest, anything 18 plus is. And what's crazy is that the jump from 18 to 19 is massive. The jump from 19 to 20 is massive. Anytime that they're putting on an extra foot when they're that big, they're putting on mass and muscle. And Jake could probably speak to that as well. You know, once they hit that 15, 60 foot, once they get to that like next foot, it's a whole different monster.
I was just about to say I was going to start a little bit smaller. I was going to start at 16, but yeah, like then that jump from 16 to 18, you're like, holy shit, is that even the same?
No, it's a whole different species. It's a whole different monster.
Even 18 to 20, dude, it's just like that's a prehistoric creature right there.
Yeah,
even 12 to 14.
Yeah.
I mean, 12 to 14 is kind of like, I mean, you can get some weird big ass bull snakes or whatever, and you're kind of like, you know. But a 16 foot, 15, 16 foot, you start getting that 50, 60, 100 pound. I mean, it's just a different creature.
Yeah. And again, I don't even consider my Soleil like a large retic. You know, and again, she's approaching 100 pounds, but she's nothing. She is absolutely nothing. Like some of the guys like Jake, Weston, you know, Wolfgang, other people who've kept large ass snakes, like they would laugh at me, you know, if I called that snake a big snake.
Yeah.
Let's
not laugh at people, guys. It's size is different for everyone. Some just like, you know, some are bigger than others. You know, let's not make fun of or make others feel insecure about what they think is big. Okay. My 6 inches might be different than your 6 inches. I don't know.
I think that's a good place to wrap up on.
Yep, I think so. I'm starting to get a little bit too silly.
Well, it's been real, guys. Lucas.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on. I mean, we go back.
Thanks, man.
It's good to see you.
No, I appreciate you guys for having me on. If you guys got any other topics, want to have me on again, I'd love to do this stuff. So I could talk snakes all day.
Sounds good.
Thanks, man.
We're gonna use that for sure.
All right.
There will be more.
Yep. Have a good one. Have a good one, y'all. Good night. See you next week.